Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Duke Silver. Today we are going to be playing more Wonder Waddle. We start off with a pretty decent shop. We get to choose between Poly and Wizard's Familiar here. I decided to go with the Wizard's Familiar just because Wizard's Familiar actually gets larger if you can triple it early. Whereas if we don't find the second Poly, you just kind of end up with a 1/1 for a really long time. So yeah, we get a Shrink Drink in our next shop. We just cycle a character out because we don't necessarily want to keep it, and then we're gonna buy a bossy here, and basically yeah, we didn't want to keep we wanted to get the Poly again just for the higher upside. Just of being an animal there. So the one cost bossy we just cycle out and get a Poly instead. Anyhow, it makes it a little bit awkward cycling a character out, I suppose, on when you shrink on 2.1, because then the gold just doesn't work out super cleanly for the next turn, as we kind of saw there. We kind of fiddle around with positioning a little bit before settling on this sort of formation. We are going to take some golden damage here early. It's a little unfortunate. Down to 27 on 3.1, not exactly where we want to be. We're going to we're going to buy this chicken anyways before buying this roll the dice, and we're going to get a donkey out of that, which is the character that we wanted for sure. Because we can double support it with the roots, of course. Alright, now we have this treasure selection. I like Monster Manual quite a bit, but it's pretty speculative. Bounty board's a little bit speculative as well. We are going to go with the bounty board because we do have this sleigh here. We want to get these Brave Princess sleighs. Hermes Sandals also helps with getting sleighs, but I think it's bounty board just has a much higher ceiling, so we're going to go with that for now. Get a little bit extra positioning there. We're going to get a little donkey value here. Geppetto did find Princess Peep as well as their own donkey, and unfortunately for us, they are going to get some good cut purse value as well as win the fight because of their donkey and those extra summon stats. There's a TLK. We're just going to fire it off on the donkey. Like, we don't want to be holding the donkey for too long. It's going to fall off pretty quickly. It already didn't, it's already a little bit disappointing just because I felt like we should have done a little bit better in the last fight, although Geppetto with those extra summons early, generally very strong. We could have taken the stag out of this, but investing in stag on 3.2 is usually something that I don't like doing, just because stag, kind of like donkey, does fall off pretty quickly. We did get our Poly triple, but we didn't get a treasure worth taking, so we're just going to take this Ogre Princess after a skip here, and then we're going to put it up front because we want the Brave Princess to slay more, so the position 5 slay I think is a lot more likely. And there's a lot of stats over there on this pup board. Unfortunately, we didn't have our dragon going a little bit earlier in the combat, so we only get to take out one of their supports, and it's just not enough to reduce their front line to a point where it's manageable. But we do get our slay with the Brave Princess, even though we're down to 15 on 4.0 now, as we are getting utterly thrashed here. We get a treasure map out of our Brave Princess though, so now we just really need to collect some 4s. I think we're going to take the Chupacabra. It's a slay character, and we do have this bounty board, so this golden Poly now looking a little bit suspect, just because we have to find a spot to put it on the board where we don't think we're gonna lose from having a very weak character. I think we're gonna go for it here. We find the Rat of the Valkyries, and that's pretty much exactly what I think we need here to try and get the Poly done, as well as we're hopefully gonna get this Chupacabra some slays, as well as we've got an Ogre Princess here. And I think we want to try and find something else. Like, our board just doesn't feel like it's good enough at this point, so we take a roll. We do find another Chupa, which is really nice, so we sell our golden chicken for it.
Oh man, that's so painful.
And there's a lot of stats over on that side of the board once again, so a little unfortunate. We do win the 50-50 and get our Poly slay, but we get a bad break there, and we do lose one more combat. So we're down to 10. It's 4.1. Things are looking pretty dire. We can't take this Wizard's Familiar because we have the trophy, or the treasure map. Yeah, basically we need to just we're gonna buy the mice if we see them, and we do see them. So we get two mice in a row here in consecutive shops, which gives us a level 6 treasure. So this is gonna really help bail us out. I don't think that we can afford a Pandora's box. If it comes out with like a Grail or something, or like Mirror Mirror doesn't do anything at this point, even like Magic Sword plus 100 wouldn't help us stabilize. So we just take the stats in the Ivory Owl, and it's really good this early, just because like I mean we've got a couple things that we do want to stay long term. This Angry that we TLK'd into is also fine to collect stats because we can just TLK it once more into a very large golden character. And yeah, we're just gonna sell down for a spell here and bank a chicken and lock these 2 triples. We just didn't have time to like figure out exactly what to sell and like what was optimal there, so we just decided to lock them both and we'll catch them next turn. All right, we win this combat pretty handily. Angry very large here, does a great job holding down the front line. We get our level 4 treasure, although we should have went for the Wizard's Familiar first, just in case of a Magic Runes. We would have taken a level 5 treasure, I think. We're going to take a deck of many things, though. It's going to give us some marginal amount of tempo. A Secret Stash is something that we wouldn't mind, but I just don't think it's better than what we have here. I mean, the bounty board, I think, is still providing us. I mean, we've got the 1 Slay character. Well, technically 2, because technically Brave Princess does still get bounty board gold when it slays something. But yeah, we've got the Chupacabra, which is pretty reliably slaying now at 26 power, and that's going to give us just a little bit of extra econ every turn. Pick up a Medusa though, just because I mean Medusa is just phenomenal in most situations. We hit their highest toughness thing, but again, our Chupa is big enough to get the slay there, which just makes all our monsters better, which is great. And now we just want to take some generically good level 5 characters, just that can collect the Ivory Owl stats here. So we're going to take a Robin Wood. Like we can't necessarily like move in on monsters. I mean, we're going to take monsters, of course. We're going to take this Friendly Spirit, as it takes the Ivory Owl stats really well. We find something that we can't slay with our Chupa, which is a little bit unfortunate. But our Angry does a lot of work there, holding down or taking out the rest of their front line, and then allowing our Medusa to scam their giant Tripoli there. We're gonna go with a Mix-a-Wizzle onto our Angry, and it turns into a very large Oni Tyrant, which is exactly what we wanted, to be honest. I mean, we're very set up for Oni Tyrant, so kind of a perfect hit. I mean, we don't get to keep it, but it pretty much guarantees that well, I shouldn't say guarantees, but most likely we do survive this next combat thanks to that power spike. Considering the Apple Tree or the Nian here, I think we're gonna go with the Nian. I mean, there's level 5 treasures that we want, like Hand of Midas or like Ambrosia would go a long way. I don't necessarily think the tree is gonna be like that much better than what we have on board. So like I just don't know what we cut for it. So I think we just take the Nian. We take which is a pair in itself. We're gonna cast the spell, and then we'll just go to the next combat here. We do deny Geppetto some board space here. They have accrued quite a few token generators now. Looks like they've got a golden time flies plus 2 regular time flies. So yeah, they've got a lot of stats going on. Fortunately for us, the donkey is no longer big enough to win the combat for them. And we win pretty handily and deal them a good chunk of damage. Yeah, up to a top 4 now on 5.2. Couple of polys there, but we're not going to bother trying to finagle a poly slay at this point in the game, and with this amount of life. Yeah, basically, I mean, I guess we would take a Baba Yaga at this point, or like we pretty much just want the Nian triple, maybe even another Friendly Spirit, and actually, like, I mean, it's still pretty, like, it's sort of early in the turn. Like, we can go to 6 and maybe buy something, so we're gonna cast the end. And honestly, like, the health is more so what I want out of this spell than anything. Like, that could be an extra winner, an extra fight anyhow. We're gonna we'll bank the tree just in case we like come into a pumpkin early next turn. We just don't really have a lot of rolls left to find something, and rather than just buying nothing, we buy a 5 that could be relevant. Again, Angry just like kind of putting in work here. Like, honestly, I didn't think this Angry was going to be as good as it was, but it was really held down our front line just by itself without a single other dwarf. And there is another, or there is an Oni Tyrant, which we are ecstatic to see. It's a little bit late for Baba Yaga, so I don't think we're going to take it, although it would be an improvement over the Robin Wood, just to try and get some extra Chupa Slays. But I just don't think the upside's there. I mean, also we would get more value out of Bounty Board, so I mean, maybe it was right to take the Baba Yaga there, but we did pass it up. We're gonna triple or upgrade our Nian for a level 5 treasure. There's Hand of Midas, but I think we're just gonna take Staff. We're gonna get out of Bounty Board now. That 1 extra gold a turn just isn't necessarily worth it anymore, and there's basically no chance that we can move into Slay from this spot. We're gonna sell our bench here and change heroes. Trophy Hunter is an interesting one with the Oni Tyrant and Friendly Spirit, but I think we're just gonna go with Gwen. Let's go for it's just a better tempo play. We're gonna be able to Knighthood our Oni Tyrant potentially next turn, or if we find something a little more relevant. Although I can't really think of anything more relevant necessarily. I think even a pumpkin isn't really what we want as far as Knighthood targets go. Our Angry takes a few sarcophagus hits, and again, like, does a pretty good job of cleaning up the front line, and we take a big loss there. We drop down to 1, so gaining exactly 3 health with the end was the difference between winning and losing, and getting one more fight and not. So yeah, we live to fight another day thanks to our the end, our XP spell, and yeah, we just fire off our Knighthood onto our Oni Tyrant. That does put Oni Tyrant out of reach of the Doom Breath that they had before. They might be able to put more stats onto it, but as it stands right now, at least 2 things in our back row don't die to Doom Breath. Although the Medusa is a lot less protected, so we just have to hope that that it doesn't hit the 50-50 to hit the Doom Breath, or hit the Medusa anyhow. Again, considering Baba Yaga, but also considering Good Boy, but we just do not have the time to get Good Boy stats going. There's another Medusa, which we are going to take this one. We do have to sell the Angry, which is slightly unfortunate. We maybe could have sold the Nian since we're cutting it anyways. The Angry just has so many more stats onto it, so like it's just a better TLK target. And yeah, fortunately for us, the Friendly Spirit, we got enough stats onto our backline Medusa to survive the Doom Breath hit. So yeah, and yeah, with our Medusa hits, we're able to beat them pretty handily here. The golden Oni stats were just enough to overcome what they had the last time. Gave us a pretty decent damage spike. Considering this soul attack here, but I don't think we're gonna go for it here. Like, our backline is mostly big enough to survive the Doom Breath hits, so I just don't feel like we need to dilute our board with a soul attack. We're gonna lock this Friendly Spirit. It's gonna get a lot of stats. We get a smite out of our deck of many things. They do take out our Medusa this time with their Doom Breath. Slightly unfortunate, but we got a pretty good scam there, and their Echo Wood ended up not being nearly as big, and we come away with the win there. Alright, I don't think there's any 4s that we really want, especially these, so we're just gonna skip them. Yeah, the Gloves of Thieving is like a consideration potentially, but again, they don't really have things that we want. We go for the TLK on the Nian, and yeah, we get another golden Oni Tyrant, which is phenomenal. Just even more stats for us here. So we've got a pretty interesting sort of tempo monster setup, and yeah, we even get to pick up a pumpkin. And it's kind of weird because we don't really want, like, we want to play the pumpkin in the front, so we end up playing the pumpkin in the front. Basically because we just want to keep getting all the stats we can out of these monsters. So having the double Oni Tyrant in the back is kind of just where I want to be here. Because like, opponent doesn't have a ton of stats, so we're able to kind of match them with just the Oni Tyrants. If we like needed to scam everything on their board, then pumpkin probably goes in the back. But the fact that our Oni Tyrants are putting in so much work means we're just prioritizing them. And also, the pumpkin dies to the Doom Breath, whereas the Oni Tyrants don't. There's another Oni Tyrant here, but since we're down to our last combat, I think we're just not going to take it. Unfortunately, like, I mean, it would be fun to just keep taking Oni Tyrants, but I just don't think it's necessarily going to help us win here. I think we need to just roll down, try and hit a Pigomorph, try and hit a combat spell of some kind, just to try and swing the favor of this last fight. Because I mean, I didn't think we were going to get a triple, but apparently we might have gotten another Oni Tyrant if we'd taken that one. Although I guess there's no guarantee that the next, like if we take something and the next shop's exactly the same as it was given the last one we took. So I don't know if that makes sense. I guess it depends on like if taking a character like changes like the algorithm of the shops. Although I guess without shared pools, it probably shouldn't anymore because nothing gets taken out of the pools. Anyways, our pumpkin does spawn a Southern Siren here, which is fantastic because we do get to steal their Echo Wood. They attack into our Medusa, but fortunately for us, Medusa is big enough to take the hit. And yeah, just enough monster hits, enough monster stats, and we come away with the win. They tried to shift into a sort of a pumpkin build, although I think Echo Wood in the back was probably better than the pumpkin. But also maybe not. Like with the sarcophagus and everything, like they might have been able to compete with stats because like Oni Tyrants, they're really good early, but like the sort of flat amount of stats and like it never scales. So like the fact that we're never really improving after we've got our Oni Tyrants on board means that yeah, just throwing more characters at us might have been enough to beat us anyhow. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Anyways, let me know what you thought of this. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, do all the fun stuff that helps the algorithm. I would very much appreciate that. And yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow.